Alright. A little bit of an odd time, but let's get right into it.
I think it's safe to rest here now.
Can actually do story. Get a boat.
Well, if it ain't the Blazing Sword and his merry crew.
Mahavar? I can't believe you're still alive.
Course I am. If you landlubbers can make it out of that sinking ship alive, ain't no reason an old sea dog like me wouldn't too.
Yeah, but that wave hit hard. I'm glad to see you're okay. Sorry we put you in so much danger back there.
All water under the bridge at this point. You helped make one of my life's dreams come true. The ship, on the other hand, she took a bit of a beating, though, I'll admit.
Really? What happened to it? It looks fine to me on the outside.
She's fine now, but she was in rough shape when I made it back here. Engine chamber gave up the ghost. Without a lot of options, I decided to talk to the head honcho of the Dark Wings and see if he could help at all. And wouldn't you know it, Crazy Fool sent over Renan engineers to help. Can you believe it?
Renan?
Yep. Said they came from Menancia. They were real professionals. Did what they needed to and didn't give me guff or anything. I was damn near floored.
So they did the work themselves. Good on them.
Well, they did a bang-up job, because she's better than ever now. Speaking of which, I take it she's why you're here?
Yes. We need to get out on the ocean, and fast. When can we set sail?
Give the man a minute to think it over, Alphen. He hasn't even said yes yet.
It's all right, little lady. I'm a man of the sea. I'll gladly help. Hop aboard, folks.
Right, we sailed to the weird wedge.
This thing already looked plenty huge from afar. Seeing it up close makes it really hit home.
I didn't expect the journey to go so smoothly. I figured the Renans would send something to sink us.
I feel like there's
Maybe they
nobody up
didn't
there.
think we had the nerve to come.
Somehow I kinda doubt that.
It's entirely possible they don't see us as a threat.
What do you mean?
That they think they're beyond our reach. Still, this structure is quite the unusual sight. Truth be told, never seen anything like it.
You're right. It doesn't look like the buildings on Lenegis at all. Or like any Renan structure for that matter.
It's weird. It doesn't feel like the kind of thing that has people inside either. Yeah, it's definitely something creepy. What the hell is it even made of?
I don't know. It's not mechanical or biological, but it's definitely alive in some way.
Shion?
I'm okay. It's nothing.
Well, what do we do now?
We have to stop this thing from siphoning off all of Dana's astral energy. That means finding the core and smashing it to bits.
Okay, but look at the size of it. I don't know if we'll find the core just wandering around.
Well, not with that attitude.
Good point. Can anyone get a read on the astral energy around us? Any kind of a sign?
There's a rather enormous flow of energy moving directly upwards. If we wish to follow it, we'll have to do some climbing.
Rinwell?
Over there?
Hey, what's up with you?
Huh?
You okay? What happened?
I'm not sure. When I was reaching out to the astral energy, I thought I heard a voice.
A voice?
Yeah. I couldn't make out any words, but it sounded like it wanted me to come to it.
This seems like a trap, right?
It's not a trap.
How can you tell?
Listen, I don't know why, but when it spoke to me, I knew it wasn't hostile.
What do you think?
It could well be a trap. However, it's also our only real option short of wandering aimlessly about.
Let's trust Rinwell on this.
You sure?
Yeah.
It beats the alternative, I guess. What did I say? Sheesh, it's like walking on eggshells around here.
Sometimes you have to choose your words more carefully, Law.
Huh? Oh, right.
You gotta trust the schizophrenia. Tuned mage. Normal attack limit up.
Stay sharp. We're going in.
Destroy the central core of the wedge. Straightforward and simple objective. The ground is very crunchy. The wedge. In quotes.
I see that the interior of the wedge is every bit as strange and unusual as the exterior. Intriguing.
If I didn't see it come from Lenegis, I wouldn't believe it was Renan. Just what's with this place?
Yeah, it's all twisty and lumpy. Whatever it's all for, I'm stumped.
I hear squishy things somewhere. Ah. These things. Level 38.
Go no further! Whatever you do, to stay away from the spore!
Covering wind! You're on! Wind! Demon Fang! Wind!
You fight better at a distance. The further away, the better.
I'll burn it all!
No weakness. It's a lot of damage.
Fire! My turn! I'm ready! In an instant! Impact Claw! We work well together.
Like a finely timed waltz.
I'm not good at some! Take this!
A wailing banshee of lightning!
I know fine weapon material when I see it.
Large demi-human talon. What makes for weapon material substantial weight as a drawback. More flowery shoulders.
Let me help!
I don't know what I'd do without you.
Perhaps now isn't the time?
I really don't.
This one's gonna be tough! Blue Wind! Raining Sun! Come one, come all! Here I come!
Sleep now.
Escape! Raining Sun! Blue Wind!
I'm out of ammo. That's my cue.
It's over! Shut him down! Raining Blast! I'm not done! Next!
As impressive as always.
Here I hope that was improved.
No, I mean, this ends now.
Consider yourself finished!
This is all Dana's astral energy.
Are you saying the Renans are funneling it through here to send to Lenegus?
Sure looks like it. We have to put a stop to it, quickly.
Hold on to your
of the
art.
trash.
Here I come!
Gotta blow it up. Indignation one.
Stay here!
Won't save you!
Reload! Let's get you all Radiant! Here!
Dragon Swarm!
Here we go! It's over! Sealed! I'm all stopped up! Maybe this way!
No escape! Sword Rain Alpha! Swallow Blade!
Thunder Shield! Astral energy!
Say no more.
You sure showed them.
All in a day's work.
Pebbles. Oh. Chaotic figure.
Little
38.
help. I never miss. Let the marksman handle this. Hit with the wind. Air thrust. A whirling struggle. Your wings won't save you from me.
I'll provide assistance.
Where are you going?
Blind freak! Why can't they just sit still?
Sia, can you take care of them?
No sooner said than
Blade
done.
moves like silk. I just let my instincts take over. How fascinating.
As impressive as always.
And here I hope there wasn't truth.
No, I mean you're even better than ever. I've never seen Xion actually look flustered.
Dragon Swarm! Totally! In an instant! Impact Block!
This seems strange. Like it should be among creatures you'd find in a
Don't look
forest.
gargantuan.
Cut it out! I don't need to hear that! It's gotta be man-made, right?
Were it so, it would not be any easier to predict. Remain vigilant.
This should make for some good weapon crafting material.
I know the pause menu is blocked when you're climbing up stuff. Weird specification.
Out of our way!
Dragon Swarm!
You want to hit? Here comes
Eat them!
Go get it! Purge the level! Magic is into the shadow! Freeze! Air thrust!
Totally! In an
Oh,
instant!
that's gonna be a lot of damage.
Impact Block! We work well together.
Like a finely timed waltz.
Flame inside me! Yours to be
Holy Land! Am I on a roll or what?
Well, look who's in a bright and shiny mood.
Let's see.
Get lost!
Did we get the EXP up one? Is that what we're using? I cannot remember.
I can shatter any speed!
Your blade moves like silk. I just let my instincts take over.
How fascinating.
As impressive as always.
And here I hope there wasn't truth.
No, I mean you're even better than ever. I've never seen Xion actually look flustered. Up and out, where I go! Glacial Spear! Here's evil!
knocked up!
My astral energy is the way! Burn it here! Do it!
Blew away!
We managed to pull through.
A ladder up to somewhere else. A ladder up to somewhere else farther in, and a doorway. Singular pineapple gel.
Ah, guess I misread the landing.
Some of those berserker type creatures. Fuel
Go
blades.
no further!
Take this!
You're mine! Ready for
Where are you going?
Try harder! My turn!
It's like trying to keep up with a wall!
Raining Slash! You picked the come and face me! Got fire!
I've got it! Let a marksman handle it!
All yours! Swallow Blade!
Do it!
Lunar Rondo! You're on! Dragon Swarm! I'll burn it all! Flaming Pillar! Fire!
Here's a healing arc!
Struck!
suffer in silence.
Don't suffer in silence.
You fight better at a distance. Further away, the better. You and I both.
Frozen.
Hammer! This should come in handy when crafting weapons.
Ooh, red. Wait. Oh. I see. Go this way.
This place definitely isn't easy to navigate. That's for sure.
I doubt this structure was conceived with the ease of people's movement in mind.
Yeah. We've been seeing nothing but Zoogle nests.
It's almost as if we're inside an incredibly immense spirit vessel of some sort.
A spirit vessel? If that's the case, then that would make Lenegis the master core that's receiving all the astral energy.
Hey, have you heard that voice again since we came in here?
Oh, so now you believe me.
I never said I didn't believe you.
The further in we go, the stronger the voice gets.
Going in the right direction.
Is that a sign we're going the right way then?
Where's this voice coming from? Can you tell?
Yeah, kind of. I hear it inside me, but I feel like it's also coming from every direction around us. It's hard to describe. It's almost like it's surrounding me.
Surrounding, huh?
Considering astral energy is involved, it's not that unusual.
Right, but it's not scary or anything. Listening to it is really soothing.
If you think so, just
Soothing?
promise you'll say something if the voice gets too clingy or anything.
I promise.
Swingy.
Little help! I'll heal you all!
Negative gate!
Be careful not to overdo it.
I'm sorry.
So weak.
Quit pushing yourself and get behind us!
I'll be right as rain in no time.
I'm ready!
Astral energy!
Say no more.
You sure showed them.
All in a day's work.
Yeah, EXP boost S. It's like 8% more. Not much, but it adds up, I guess. Maybe.
Take this! See what I can do!
Should try a few new moves.
Consider yourself finished!
Pretty sure we got some more hearts.
Bloody
Astral energy!
Say no more.
Am I on a roll or what?
Well, look who's in a bright and shiny mood.
So how do we break through this? Blazing sword. A lot of CP gone. All for a stamina ring. A ring that may have the AG cost of an art when cast, letting especially lucky casters unleash powerful arts with reckless abandon.
Looks like some solid equipment.
Yeah, sounds like it'd be useful to make. Though I think the increased arts casting speed is probably a better investment. Let's see, what was I checking? Oh yeah, his arts. Let's swap Demon Fang and Shadow Blade or something new. Let's see, what haven't we used? We haven't used Shockwave Slash. spear, slashing, sweep attack from the side. I don't think we've tried Iron Cleaver either. A 2-hit slicing counterattack activated when hit while bracing for an enemy attack. So, yeah, that's like a counter move. We'll have to see what the amount of time we have to spend guarding is. Because dodging right into it might just be a better panic move.
Get lost!
I'll take you all off! I'll smash you!
Is that now I've seen everyone!
Got flyers!
I've got this! Let a marksman handle it!
All yours!
Here's a healing arm!
Shockwave Slash! Stalagmite! Rending you apart! Shockwave Slash!
This one's mine!
Coming through!
I mean, it doesn't seem too bad, Sharp Wind Slash,
Now!
but
Scarlet Inferno!
gotta say, Iron Cleaver is not my cup of tea. Vacuum Blades. Ah, it's another combo move.
Vacuum Blade! It's over! Here I come!
Do it! Neon! Astral energy! Full throttle!
It might be slightly better than Dragon Swarm.
That worked like a
entirely sure.
dream. I pity anyone who stands in our way.
More CP wasted. All for a revival ring. Ring that maybe revived the wearer from a KO. There was once a whole squad of famous for wearing these rings known as the Undead Legion.
The design of this equipment is really interesting.
You must really like it, Alphen.
Getting some new stuff. I like it. It's also Earth Elemental. I should probably leave that as Demon Fang. Vacuum Blades isn't too bad, but it's not an amazing combo move, but you can juggle. You can juggle them, keeping them in the air for a while. Explosive Ring versus Incineration Wave. I think I'll leave it on that button. Keep Demon Fang on LTY.
I won't forgive you! Anything in ornery!
Ignite!
Anyone?
Illuminate the time!
Amazing! Take it! I'm not done!
Where are you going?
Bloody I'm not done!
Illuminate the time!
Negative change! Blow away!
Stalagmite! Lunar blast! I'm all stopped up! A wailing banshee of light! Seal! Pierce
Smite with blackened blade! Raining slash!
Raining Slash is just really good.
Negative raining slash! On your blow away!
These guys are so.
Yours to be let free! Raining slash! Blow away! You're mine! You escape! You picked the wrong fight! Raining slash! Blow away! I'll smash you! Raining slash! Shine! Here I come! Force of regeneration! Now I can let loose! Demon Fang!
Water! Here I come!
Now I can let loose! Temper win!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
Not a tough enemy, but it eats up your
We're still in one piece?
CP. Mad. One elixir.
Out of our way!
Take it! Resonate with the
This one's mine!
You're finished!
A wailing dancing lightning! Here I go! I'm only getting started!
Be careful, everyone. This one isn't normal.
Pesky airborne scoundrel.
Leave the enemy like a job for you, truly!
No complaint here!
Resonate with the earth! Okay, here I go. No escape! Dragon Force! Bloody holiday!
Here goes!
Blow away!
I'm ready! Astral energy!
Get this little guy away from his friends.
Got it!
Well done!
As impressive as always.
Here, I hope that was improving.
No, I mean, you're even better than ever. I've
We
never
turned the
seen
tables
Sion
on him.
actually. There are 4 more left.
Right, no time to hold back.
In here! Radiant Pierce!
You're mine!
This one!
Sword Rain Alpha!
Take it now!
That extra training paid off.
Ooh, money. I wonder, since we have Sword Rain Alpha, are we gonna eventually get the other Sword Rains? I haven't gotten them yet. Leads to Spiral 1. So where does this go? Oh, fast travel point. The teleport at the entrance is now active. Sweet. So that like leads back to Spiral 1, but it's a teleporter back to that floor. So we can just keep going. Hell yeah.
Coming through! No escape! Come and face me! It's over! This one's all mine! Your arms are really incredible.
It's thanks to you I can use them.
Then I promise I'll always be here.
You fight better at a distance. The further away, the better. You and I both.
Blow away! No escape!
Here goes!
Raining Slash! You in the dust!
I need to be stronger.
We've sure climbed up a long way, haven't we?
Probably not even
Watch your
halfway.
step ahead. With no fencing in place, it would be quite hazardous to fall.
It's a good thing fall damage is non-existent. Really jumped the gun on that one.
Retreat if you know what's good for you. Here I come! Strike! Ignite!
Hey, Drinking Force! Radiant Fire! Illuminate the
Raining
dark!
Slash!
Cosmos by the pain between heaven and earth! A wailing dancing lightning!
Let us take to the
Divine savior! Move eruption!
They smite with fire.
Annihilation!
Raining Slash!
Light away!
Being interrupted.
My turn!
Lightning!
Strike! Dragon Force!
Leave the enemy's arc to me!
Smash you! No complaints here!
Dreams!
Here I come! Vacuum blades!
Resonate with the earth! Now!
Stalagmite!
Demons descend!
Flashing fang!
My turn!
Here's the evil!
No escape! Rending you apart!
Freeze light!
Explosive ring!
Let's go!
I'm ready!
That was a lot of low damage
Consider
numbers.
yourself finished!
That thing destroys if you suck away all of your HP.
I still got a ways to go!
so much damage.
Get lost!
Here I come! Take this! I'm not Take this! I could do without this pain.
They may look cute, but they're vicious.
We got fire!
I've got this. Let a marksman handle it. Anything in armor is
All yours! Lunarando! Mirage! Wind! I'll burn it all!
Nah, no
Flaming
super
pillar!
one.
Fire!
Illuminate the
Marker! Take this! Lunarando! Doubling! In an instant! Impact block!
Ooh, collateral.
We're a pretty lethal combination, aren't we?
What can I say? I had a good
Kingly
partner.
vest. A vest that, well, could have been worn by an actual king, as rumors claim, given its superior protection and uniquely flashy appearance.
This'll make us even more formidable.
A little bit of swapping. I feel like he's stronger than Dolim. Do a lot more damage. Dolim is a good support, but I don't think he's that great. At least in comparison with other characters.
No backing down! I'm not done! Eat this! In an instant! Impact block!
Oh wow, that was quick.
Over so soon?
Ooh. Can you separate? Nope. Bloody coat. A dark red long coat worn by assassins in the world over, who favor it for its coloration, conveniently hiding any pesky blood spray that may get on them.
I found some equipment.
Let me take a look at it.
Dramatic horns.
It's on! I'm not prepared for these deals! Now you see what I can do! It's over!
Lightning
No
orb!
further!
Light after
Watch it go! The
No
flame
body
inside me!
slammers
You're
the next week!
let free!
Oh,
You see what happened there is you crossed me.
A change of heaven and earth.
Eat dirt!
Glacial spear. I'll tear you apart!
Blew away!
Freeze lancer!
Raining slash!
Eat this!
Will this work?
Try hard! My turn!
Hand thrower!
Raining
Chain between
Try
heaven and
harder!
earth.
Take this!
Lightning!
Just getting started.
Here!
Raining
Move out! Maybe this way.
A charge like that could easily be fatal.
Just as well, I'm here to stop it.
damn it.
Demon Fang!
Here's a healing arm! Where are you going?
You had to dodge in the wrong direction, didn't you?
Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Here, let me
Take
help.
this! Ha! You picked the wrong fight!
Struggle.
Raining
Hear my
slash!
call. Wind
Blue
spread.
hand!
Spread force.
Anything in armor is all mine.
Here's the evil. Sweet power.
Strut!
Get on it.
Try harder! Not a chance!
I can carve through
Take
this.
this!
Burn the
Blow
healing
away!
circle.
Swallow dance!
What is this? Oh, now I'm real
Here I
mad.
come!
More for the
Blow
stop.
away!
Lunar corruption. Banana.
Watch this.
Here I come! Strut!
I'll crush you. Lightning reflexes. Tenebrous claw.
Water. Hear my call.
Blow away!
It's time.
Try harder! This one's all mine! Hold
Oh,
nothing
it's a
back!
three-hit combo?
Raining slash!
Watch it in.
Demon Fang!
Dragon
Swarm!
Ready and ready.
Sword Ray Outlook!
I'll tear you apart.
Severing Wind! Lunarando! I'll burn it all! Ah! Flaming Pillar! Fire!
All those zeros. So much damage.
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished. My
Now!
turn.
Astral energy!
Say no more.
We can really make weapons with this?
I think I need to chug some potions or something. Some gels. More, 52 more CP down the drain. And what for? A spirit bangle. Raises to restore CP every time the wearer defeats an enemy. Yep.
Wow! You've got to be lucky to find this stuff!
Indeed. I can tell it's quite the find.
I'm probably missing a few items. It's hard to see the sparkles among the shiny blues.
It'll be a breeze. Get in, get out. I'm surrounded. Smash you. Watch this.
Winds of heaven! First force!
We
Now!
are freaking invincible.
Alvin and the others. I can't hold on much longer!
Try harder.
All finished here.
A whirling
I'm not
struggle!
done. The flame
Winds
inside
of
me.
heaven!
Yours.
Something's wrong with me.
You just say the word and I'm there.
Can't believe it's coming.
I'm not done. Raining slash.
Eagle assault.
Blow away. An astral art?
Out my cue!
Shut him down.
Creating the chance that it could go off.
I won't be able to heal you for much longer.
Maybe we should head back?
It's still going strong. $2,000 HP. We have these. I'll use one. And we'll eat one of our orange shells that we picked up.
Hi, Hoodle!
Can't get out of this. Swallow dance.
Here!
Raining on a roll now.
Blow away. I'm not done. Burn it out.
A whirling struggle!
Why can't they just sit still?
Sion, can you take care of them?
I'm like
You'll see your session's done!
I'm not done. Lunar run. You're on.
A whirling struggle!
Blow away.
I'm on
Sword Rain Alpha. Dragon Swarm.
Sleep now!
Here I come.
Armor won't save you.
Vacuum Blade.
Water astral energy!
Blow away.
I'm nearly done for.
I'm not done. There. We did it.
As impressive as always.
Now! Astral energy!
Say no more.
With this,
Alright.
I can become even stronger!
Sparkles. Huh. Are enemies dropping lemon gels? Or, oh no, I didn't use one before. That's what's going on. Wishy ropers. Fight me.
No backing down. I'm on it.
Iron Field!
Burn in hell.
In here!
Severing wind.
No further.
Freeze Lancer!
Do it. Demons descend. Flashing bang.
Way to go!
Oh, now I'm real mad.
This target failed! Healing Circle!
Prepare to be seized, Efreet.
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw! Crumble! Take this! Shattering crush! Pieces! Attack time! Into the shadows! Spread! Take this! Inferno punch!
Here's evil!
Freeze Doctor! Rolling snap!
Who wants to die next?
Dare you
Let's
away!
energy!
Dragon!
Wait, where'd the other ones go?
Check out these biceps. Pretty glorious, right?
Why are guys so obsessed with their muscles?
Because these puppies have yet to let me down.
Out of our
Gardening.
way!
Easter! Sword! Flew away! No further! Flew away! Now I'm in the groove! Flew away! Did you hear it? Freaking does it! Take this! Armor won't save
It's always a 2-for-1 deal with these guys.
Here, let me help.
Now I'm real mad!
I never miss.
Take this!
Here's a healing arm.
Flew away! I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
Lunar crimson between heaven and earth by the power of water.
Now I'm in the groove! Eagle dive! Flew away! Burn it hell!
I'll heal you
Flew
all.
away! Burning slash!
Healing circle.
Hey!
I'm sorry to be bothered.
We've all got enough.
Charge like that could easily be
ma'am.
faced.
Just as well, I'm here to stop it.
Dragon sword! Coming pain! Solid hurricane! Coming
There you go.
through! Ha! Now! Scarlet
Cut you off
Inferno!
right there.
This ends now.
Consider yourself finished! Now I'm in the groove! Oh no!
Can't get out of this!
I'll tear you apart! I'll smash you! Your mother! Eat this! Try harder! Oh my! That's enough!
Freeze Lancer.
Roll now! Burn in hell! Hurricane! Ready to go! Glimmer Dragon! Hitting slide!
There you go. Don't let up.
Prepare to be sealed!
First aid.
Blue
Freeze
escape!
Lancer. Dance to
Done.
the wind.
Hitting slide!
Air thrust.
Blew away!
My astral energy.
You're mine!
Freeze Lancer.
Dragon Form!
Astral energy.
Say no more!
There we go.
That astral energy was incredible!
I gave it everything I had.
So no doorway, just a ladder. Seems like we found the ending. Now the question remains: how many life bottles are we gonna burn through before we're done? We're level 40 to 41 now. Amount of damage dealt by one of Shion's bombs when shot with their last special bullet. Well, explosion sounds fun, so I'm gonna get that. Since it's boss, do that. If I want to, I could really go defensive and replace Rinwell with Sarah, but Didn't we fight a thing similar to this before?
Here?
It's here?
Yes. All the energy flowing through the wedge comes together and collects here.
Is that thing a Zoogle? Holy crap, it's huge!
A central core and a guardian?
Once we beat that thing, it'll stop the wedge from taking in any more astral energy, right?
It seems we're in for a fight regardless.
Yes, we did fight something similar to this.
Here it comes.
Stay sharp, everyone! Tentacle weak points and all.
Is there no end to what the Renans can cook up?
I don't know if that's a machine or what, but I do know it's pissing me off!
Watch yourself. There is no knowing what it is capable of.
Any other wisdom you want to pass along?
The flame inside is yours to be let free! Lunarongo! Lunarongo!
Healing circle!
Thanks! Lunarongo! I don't know what I'd do without you. Ignite!
Perhaps now isn't the time?
I really don't. Lunarongo!
Execution! Rending you apart!
No escape!
Where are you going?
You're finished! Lunarongo!
Glacial Spear! Pierce evil! Freeze Lancer! I'll heal you all! Healing circle!
Flew away!
Glacial Spear! Pierce evil!
Flew away!
Chain between heaven and earth! How's this?
Yeah, they really don't like me dealing
Radiant is here!
all that damage.
Flame inside is yours to be let free! Lunarongo!
Explosion! Burning!
You picked the wrong fight!
Glacial Spear! Pierce evil! Freeze Lancer!
Raining slash! Flew away!
Glacial Spear! Pierce evil!
Hasn't landed once with that yet.
We did it!
As impressive as always.
Here I hope that was improving.
No, I mean, you're even better than ever.
Position,
I've never
precision,
seen
timing.
Xion actually
All
look
with perfect
this
care.
That's it? Nothing else there?
You take meticulous care of your file.
Heal my weary companion!
More Zoogle?
Keep calm and take them down.
No escape!
In a bind? I shall ensure you survive this.
Try harder!
Another incantation ruined.
Eat dirt!
Glacial Spear! Pierce evil! Where are you going?
Elusive deity carved through armor.
Chain between heaven and earth!
We did it!
Away
Now!
with the lightning!
Strike! Flew away! Dragon Swarm!
This one is almost in the bag.
Not done yet. Just falling back.
Then it's time for you to do what you do best.
Pierce evil!
Flew away!
Freeze Lancer!
One's all mine! Damn!
Glacial Spear! Pierce evil!
Back in blade!
Blood.
Rending you apart! I'm not done! Back in blade!
Ready and
You fight better at a distance. The further away, the better. You and I both.
do it! Xion! Astral energy!
That was
Go!
another easy boss. Unless there's another form. Nope, it's dead. Yeah, that was really easy. I mean, the other one that we fought was also really easy. Oh, I'm playing this now? Yeah. Got up early. Don't have anything to do today. D&D game that I usually have is cancelled. So I'm playing this now. How's it going, Chess Master?
Rinwell! It's too dangerous! Stay back!
You okay there, Renwell? acquiring her second mystic art. Why does this scenario seem unusually familiar?
What's going on here? You okay? Hey, are you crying?
I'm not the only one.
I heard it. Whatever it was, I heard it.
As did I. I'm not sure I'd call it a voice, but it was there.
What in the world just happened?
That was Dana's astral energy we just encountered. And I think what we heard might have been its voice?
You're saying astral energy has a mind of its own?
I haven't the slightest idea. But do you remember what happened when we fought Balseph back in Calaglia?
You mean when that fire monster came out of the spirit vessel?
Exactly. There was such a huge overflow of astral energy, it caused a monster to spawn and take physical form. Maybe the same thing happened here, just with way more astral energy and a bigger monster.
Does that mean if you gather enough astral energy, it can become sentient or take a physical form?
That's what I'm guessing, but it's just speculation. Master cores are able to hold a lot more energy than a spirit vessel.
So what
But
he's
we
saying
still
is
haven't
that
seen anything
Balseph
like
would have
that
won
happen in our
the
dealings with
crown
them.
contest if they were
That
actually
being
doing
said,
it.
there may be a
properly.
mechanism of sorts inside Master
saw
cores
no
and
more of
spirit
those
vessels that
weird big
prevent
monsters.
such reactions.
That fire monster. I remember how it only appeared after Balseph's spirit vessel broke.
Then the reason Rinwell was able to sense all that astral energy earlier must have been because it was too much for that Zoogle to contain by itself.
So, then where do you think the Zoogle went? All that energy and poof, it's gone. The Zoogle with it. Doesn't that sound weird to anyone?
Indeed it does. However, in order for us to move our hypothesis forward, we will need to gather more evidence first. On that note, how are you holding up, Rinwell?
I just can't work out why. Why the voice reached out to me first.
Rinwell?
I can't help but wonder if it's because of my heritage that I was the one to hear it. Sorry. That's a strange thing to think, isn't it? Anyway, we should get going, right? We need to make sure the energy flow has actually stopped.
Achievement unlocked. Invasion averted.
Are we gonna have to take this winding path all the way back down, too?
Yeah,
Oh boy.
but if anything, it should be easier than the climb up.
They won't let you fast travel back. Jerks.
Really? Well then,
Actually, I've heard it's easier to develop muscle aches when going down.
seriously? Everything all right? You kinda looked like you wanted to get something off your chest.
Huh? Oh,
Or not, you know, whatever.
yeah. You know,
Yeah?
sorry, never mind. Just forget it.
Oh my god.
You wanna try being a little less cryptic, maybe? Yeah, all right, jeez. Sorry for taking an interest.
Stop it! It's okay, Hoodle! Sorry. I guess I still don't really know how to put it into words.
Nah, that's fine. No rush. It might help you to talk about it, though.
I'll keep that in mind. And thanks.
What's it? Locked down. Okay. Oh, hello.
Go no further!
Surprising. Answer my question. Finally got a 180 from work last night. When he came home, I was nowhere to find him.
If it's in the sky, it's mine!
Can't dodge past it.
Now you see what I can do!
You're mine! Heal! Okay.
Glacial steel! Here's evil! This one's mine!
Blow away!
Ready? Let me help. First aid! A wailing energy of lightning!
What?
Time to let it rip! Blue escape! Win! Lunarongo! This one keeps charging us!
That's what my shield's for. Get behind me.
Got it! I'll leave it to you! I'll burn it all!
Sorry to hear that, Chuck.
Flaming pillar! Fire!
I'll bring you back from death's abyss! Resuscitation!
Forward up!
Targeting the wrong one.
Being interrupted.
Healing circle!
Thanks, Gion.
Be careful not to overdo it.
I'm sorry. I'll do better.
Anything in armor is all mine!
Devastation!
I like how devastation sounds like they're slapping them with a wet noodle.
You're finished!
As long as I've known you, have you come up for the most part of the I wouldn't say so. I think you asked this question to me before. It was not a word I'd use to describe how you talk. You sound like you've been down on your luck.
Try harder!
And sometimes venting is good.
Take this! Blue escape! Devastation!
Here will save you! This ends now!
Consider yourself finished! My turn!
Light after
No further! It's over! This one's all mine!
between heaven and earth!
Devastation! Rising Falcon!
I'll face you.
Dragon Swarm!
Steel sword!
Sword Rain Alpha!
Dance in the wind!
Dragon Swarm! Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Radiant pierce!
Take this!
Because apparently you don't actually do that for the feeling.
Try harder! My turn!
No dawn, so now we're not
Back to the fray!
Blow away!
Heaven! Force!
Eat dirt!
Radiant pierce!
Elusive deity!
I'll
Raining
be
slash!
saving this one!
Blow away!
Light astral
Armor won't save you!
It looks like you got this covered! Illuminate Kisara, Frozen!
Hammer! We're still standing. Barely.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I haven't had any issues with
Take this!
Here I come!
anything you said in the stream chat.
Dragon Swarm!
They're better than some people I've seen in the stream chat.
Raining! Come and face me!
I'll be saving this
Take
one!
this!
Take this!
Photon blast! Where are you going?
Demon Light! Blow away!
They're all coming after me!
I'm coming, Willow!
I'm not scared! I'm totally fine!
Blow away! You're mine! Strike!
Now!
River!
Astral energy!
Say no more!
I've been doing really great lately.
Food is still active. That's kind of surprising. Down we go.
Come one, come all! No escape!
Raging cascade!
You're mine! Ignite!
Demon Blast!
Eagle Ray!
Winds of heaven!
Begin! Take this! We got flyers!
I've got this! Let a marksman handle it!
With the earth! All yours! You're mine! Raising you up high! It's over!
One more time!
Take this! Behold! The earth pulse! Tectonic fission! On your knees!
Raging lunar eruption!
Here, let me help! Too fast! Stand back! I'll trip it up! Transform!
I'm ready! Here's a healing arc!
Sword Lane Alpha!
Just like that! Astral energy! Full throttle! A flawless victory! Attained naturally!
Raining flash!
Now! Astral energy!
Say no
One
more!
night, you just not talk about your day at work, and knocks himself if it's a looks out for number one.
I feel stronger.
That's
I mean,
just...
a bit.
Good. We're counting on you, Rinwell.
On me? Well, I'll do my best.
Guess I misread the landing.
That's like just jumping to conclusions. Sometimes if you had a bad day, you just want to forget about it and relax.
Out of our way!
I've had those.
Don't mind if I do! Lunar annihilation! Alright! Mega Ray! Showtime! Air thrust!
We've turned the tables on him.
There's no more left!
Right. No time to hold back. We did it! My turn! Catapult! This one's all mine!
Lunar corruption! Now! Astral energy!
Say no more! Got it!
Well done!
You're mine!
Hold up! Is this as valuable as I think it is?
Apparently you're just going to be doing a powerful something
Let's dispose
that
of the trash!
will offend you.
You picked the wrong fight!
I mean, you're using your therapist or anything. There's no obligation when I talk about something you just want to currently forget. That sounds like just a lot of jumping to conclusions. Unless you just... The only situation I can see where she would be right is if you told them off saying, no, I don't want to talk about it with you. It's like, I'll talk about it with somebody else, but not you. So who knows? Maybe it was a tone of voice thing. But really, it still sounds like a situation that's like not 100% in the wrong, no matter what. Not wanting to talk about a bad day, not something you should be insulted for.
Try harder! My turn!
In a bind? Begin! Now you see what I can do!
No more playing nice!
I'm not...
I'll heal you out! Do it!
Catapult!
Astral energy!
Say no more! Got it!
Well done!
You're mine!
This one's mine!
You're finished! Eagle Ray! Raining flash!
I can't heal you forever! It's time to finish this! Die! Consuming wildfire! Lightning! Downfall!
Strike!
Mega ray! Thunder field! Raging cascade!
Easter!
Tornado
drive! You require a help.
whirling struggle!
Flew away!
Winds of heaven! There you go! Don't let up!
Anything in order to go on!
This is handy!
Here I come!
Bloody holiday!
Magic is
Raining slash! Flew away!
Alright,
Now you see what I can do! I'm ready!
Astral energy!
Say no more!
Perhaps we ought to recuperate for a while.
I agree. Fighting in this state would be reckless.
We're gonna keep fighting. If you want to know, Sylvester could have made it clear she wanted to know so she could help, but she kept silent.
Come and face me! Here I come! I'm not done! Take it! This one's all mine! Any more they can all burn out! Severing wind! Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
I saw a double hit on that first strike.
I'm ready!
Kikara frozen!
Hammer!
Whirling circle!
Sword Rain Alpha! Wind! I'm ready!
Kikara frozen!
Hammer!
I must keep striving.
You can ease off yourself.
Pot calls the kettle black. Good advice for all of us, to be honest.
Bring it.
An opponent like this
You haven't seen any shiny enemies in here. Think about it.
Not in your dreams!
Burn! Begin!
Laser spear! One at a time!
Now you see what I got fire!
I've got this! I can't hold on much longer!
You're mine! All yours!
Leave the enemy's arc to me!
No further! No complaints here!
I never miss! I'm calling for rubble! Wheeling out!
There you are!
I don't know what I'd do without you.
Not today!
I really don't.
It's over! Rondo! Hold nothing back! Sword Rain Alpha!
A whirling struggle!
Dragon Swarm!
Wings of heaven! First force! Field!
Severing Wind! Ready and ready! You're on! I'll burn it all! Flaming Pillar! Fire! I'm ready! Oh! Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade! Now! Take this! Dance on the rain!
Astral energy!
Say no more!
What you can say about your family? Something you want happen?
That astral energy was incredible!
I gave it everything I
What
had.
happened? You're cool at the moment, but when the next day rolls around, they bring it up with such a news as if it just happened then. Okay. I'm gonna be a little bit honest here now. That situation sounds like they are giving you time to cool down, and then they're asking if you want to just talk about it now that you're relaxed about it.
You're mine! Begin! Elusive deity!
So that's more thoughtful, in my opinion. Like they're leaving you be for a bit so you can unwind. And then bring it up later if you want to talk about it.
Neon! Astral energy!
That's at least how I see it.
A flawless victory! Naturally!
Take this! I'm not done! We did it! Not a chance! No escape! Raining strike! Flew away! Raining
So if they're insulting you after the fact in that case, yeah, that's a bit of an issue.
Astral energy! Full throttle!
Hey, I'm pretty lucky. Guess I misread the landing.
Vanilla yellow.
Out of our way!
All my golden enemies.
Ignite!
You got something in
Elusive
there?
deity!
Lightning
In break timer! Now!
Ready
Take
to
it!
run!
Heal
Healing has been earned.
As impressive as always.
Here I hope that was improved.
No, I mean,
How
you're
do
better.
phase of it bring up some hostility?
Flashing bang! I'm ready!
Gotcha.
Astral energy!
Say no more!
You sure showed them.
So they
All
bring
in
it
a
up
day's
angrily
work.
after the fact. Can we zip on down? Nice. Have I not been up there? I remember climbing this ladder. No, I haven't. I missed this.
This will be a delicious piece of cake.
Can't get out of this! Front! The flame inside is yours to be let free!
I never miss.
Blow away to these steams! Rain slash! Blow away! Try harder! My turn! Ignite! Rain Alpha! Demon Pack!
Our arts are being interrupted.
I'll burn it all! Flaming Pillar! Fire!
Now,
River!
astral energy.
Say no more! That astral energy was incredible!
I gave it everything I
Alright,
had.
what's inside? Curse Charm. A charm that wards off curse as well as boosts elemental defense. The curious people up to no good are known to wear it as precaution. No shinies. I mean, when that happens, they brush it off. And enough time passes, it's like the hostile reaction they should have had made then, they do it now. I couldn't tell you
It looks like that beam of
that
light has
situation.
stopped.
Then is it safe to say we've avoided oblivion for the time being?
I can still sense a faint glimmer of energy, though. It hasn't completely dispersed.
You can tell? Rinwell, your senses seem a lot sharper than before, don't they?
And you said you heard that voice, right?
I guess. Maybe. I don't know. I don't feel bad, though.
If trace amounts, however small, do remain, then it leaves us no choice. We must destroy the entire structure.
Yeah, explosions.
What do you suggest? We bring it down piece by piece?
Once that's done, what do we do then?
We go to Lenegis. Even if we could destroy the whole wedge like he suggested, it'd only buy us time. The fact they sent this thing down tells me they're not giving up this planet without a fight.
There's also the matter of the Renis Alma. Its circumstances still have yet to be truly resolved.
But how do we even get to Lenegis?
What if we hotwire one of their starships? There's gotta be one on the planet somewhere, right?
Starships are only seen on Dana at the start and end of the Crown Contest. Otherwise, they remain on Lenegis. Believe it or not, we Renans down here aren't quite as free to come and go as one might think.
Great. Well, I'm out of ideas then. We definitely don't have the tech to build a starship. And even if we found a Renin who'd help, who knows how long that'd take.
Yeah. Waiting for a starship to come down from Lenegis would probably be quicker than that.
How do we go up?
Wait. Alphen, when you came down from Lenegis, it had to have been in a starship of your own, right?
Right. Oh, of course.
You can't be serious. That was 300 years ago. There's no way it's still gonna work.
But Alphen didn't wake up until a few years ago. That means it had to have still been functioning that whole time to keep his body preserved.
Indeed. You wouldn't happen to remember where you landed, would you?
My memories around where I
Okay.
parked are still a
Sounds
little
like
hazy.
sounds
but
like
I do
something
know
they
that I
glossed
woke up in
over.
Calaglia. So chances are it's still in the area. At least it's a place to start. Luckily,
Yeah.
that realm's my old stomping ground. So I should be able to get us some help finding her.
Okay, so they...
This is it.
Yeah. As long as Lenegis stands there, there's no avoiding it.
So what's this help in Calaglia you're planning to enlist?
My buddy Nath. If anyone there knows something, I figure it's him. But first, we need to catch a boat and get back to the mainland.
Okay. Seems like they skipped over the idea that his body was preserved for 300 years rather than something happened and he was basically ageless. Which is the assumption that kind of, I was going with. But he was basically cryogenically frozen for 300 years on the ship that he got shipped down on. And then woke up in Calaglia a few years ago. Really weird. Sounds like everything went well. Let's say we set sail and make our way back to Port Nog Sar, eh? Yeah. And it's very Breath of the Wild, yeah. Point is, you can't act like yourself with your family because no matter what you do, you're gonna look like you're in the wrong.
Our first port of call
Except for the
is
streets.
Ulzebek.
Yeah, except this is three
Back where
times
you
that.
first
300
started out.
years,
Yeah,
time skip.
along with my dad.
And we don't even get a prequel game
You okay?
in
You don't
Dynasty
look so
Warriors
good.
format.
I think I'm just a little seasick, that's all.
Liar.
Huh?
You heard me. You've never been good at hiding your emotions, Shion.
Excuse me? Just what do you... No. You're right. I'm sorry.
Is it about Alphen?
No. Not just him.
Just
Something
wondering
you
how old
can't
Alphen is.
talk about?
You mean like how many years he's actually
Rinwell,
aged?
I'm not like the rest
If I
of
had
you.
to guess, probably
Of
like
course
low
you are.
20s. Like 21 or 22.
No, I'm serious. Back when we first met, I think maybe then I did think we were different. But now I know that isn't true. You and I are the same, Shion. We're alike in more ways than you know. If any of us is different, it's me. I'm a Danon who can use magic. I may be the last. My family and I have been living in hiding as long as I can remember.
Everyone has their own pain that can be hard for other people to understand. I saw the two of you talking and thought you could use a third wheel. So, here I am. Sorry.
If anyone's the odd one out here, it's me. Believe me, you don't want to listen to my problems.
Want me to go?
I didn't say that.
I get that you must have a lot circling around that head of yours. And that's okay. Whatever's worrying you right now, you're allowed to worry about it. And you don't have to talk about it if you don't want to. I know I'm not a Renin like you, or a mage like Rinwell. I'm not a sovereign, maiden, or lord. I'm just a Danon who used to be a slave. But regardless of all that, I'm here for you, Shion.
That goes for me too. We all want to be there for you. Me and Hoodle and even the boys. I promise. I mean, that is what friends are supposed to do, right?
I said this to Alphen, and now I'll say it to you. You're not alone in this.
Thank you. Rinwell. Kisara.
And right on cue, I think I should make my way back
Line
and
didn't
lie
change at
down
all.
for a bit. My battle with this
Right
ship
outside.
continues.
Yeah, I better head back too. We wouldn't want the guys thinking they're in charge. Can you imagine Law at the helm? Who knows what kind of trouble we'd get into?
Still, if that's true, then it's all the more reason I have to do this.
So for the ages, they don't say in the wiki,
think
but
it's
everyone
safe to
else's
rest
ages
here
they
now.
made very clear. I'm going to assume because it's kind of vague, like it's a 300-year time span. It's not 100% accurate. And then there's Alphen's actual, like, how old does he age if he was born X number of years from before today? Like his age, not including the cryogenic freezing. Silent treatment.
All right, something is definitely up with Shion.
But I would guess however
Yeah,
old Shion is,
something
that's
big
probably
by the
how
looks of
old
it.
Alphen is.
I've never seen her so serious.
So,
in terms of, like,
do you think we
age
should say
years.
something to Alphen then?
I was wondering the same thing myself. But then it occurred to me,
Shion is 19.
whatever this
The
thing
19 might
on
be a
her
good,
mind is, it's probably the
guesstimate
last
for
thing
how
in the
old
world she wants
he
people
is.
to know about. If she's trying this hard to keep it
I'd assume
secret,
they'd keep those
then it's
ages
not really our place to
same.
go telling people before she's ready.
love interests.
Yeah.
I can't tell them.
At least main character love
There's-
interests.
There's just
First
no
two.
way I could, right? What am I supposed to do?
Yeah, I think 19 or 20 is a good guess for how old he is. Right. Oh, a new quest in Pelagian. Pelagian. Pelagian is how it's pronounced.
Always good to be back in familiar territory.
Novel sure sounds like a piece of work. Actually, makes me glad I was born in Calagula, believe it or not. The architecture and climate of this realm is so different from what I'm used to back in Cislodia. I hope the people here get to visit Cisloden for themselves someday and see what it's like.
I see a cat. What?
Guess you can come out of the house finally. I've noticed Mom and Dad have been smiling a lot more than they used to.
I wonder how Zari's doing.
I sense a poor soul who is in dire need.
Sounds like our cue to step in and help.
Nothing about it. Hey there, Alphen. Nice to see you.
Wow!
Hilsa, did you come out from Calaglia to help out things here? Yeah, I was right. I remembered. Sure did. I heard what happened. Sounds like these people had it even worse than we did. If you can believe it. They might be physically free, but allow themselves a long way to go mentally. Well, it seems I actually have some knowledge about treating mental health issues, so I'm going to try and help them think independently while I'm here.
Thank you.
Be great. But how do you plan to help them? Simple, by sitting down and talking with them one-on-one, asking questions, seeing how they respond, and counseling them. That makes sense. She had the time and ability to do that stuff herself, but we don't really. Stop feeling like you have to shoulder everything yourself, Alphen. You'll burn yourself out. You know what? Maybe you and I could sit down together for a session. What do you say?
What?
What? You really think I need counseling that badly? Then he gets so defensive. I just want to gauge how you're doing mentally right now. Oh, alright. Well, let's give it a shot.
Great!
Sure, let's see how this goes.
Yeah.
Great, alright. I want you to answer a series of questions for me, okay? First question. Don't think too deeply, just go with your gut. What's your favorite type of astral energy? Gotta be fire, of course. 100%. Okay, how do you like to fight? Close quarters or nothing. What's the most important thing to you in life? I fight for my friends. There's a wall standing in your way. What do you do? Well, obviously you get over the barrier. Have you ever heard any mysterious voices before? Might have come to think of it. That's all the questions for me. And now as for your results. You're like a sweet, innocent mage. You have an honest and cheery personality that draws people to you. You know what to say in a situation without hurting anyone's feelings, but be careful. Some might think you have an ulterior motive.
Wow.
You know, I never really thought of myself like that, but maybe you're right. So she just gave him a horoscope. That's what I'm here for. If you ever want another session, come talk to me again anytime. Talk with Tilsa. I mean, hey, I get some SP out of it, I guess.
I wish I could get an examination.
Well, if you say so. Let me see, yes, you're in well, alright?
If only your brain could keep up with your mouth.
You want another counseling session together? Let's answer the opposite. Her seems pretty suave. You're rich, how would you spend your gold? Oh, it's different. Party all day, every day. What's the number one thing you want right now? Well, someone to love me. The wall standing in your way. Turn around and leave. This pain is hard for you to bear. That of others or your own. My own pain. All the questions. You're like a protective mother figure, stronger and nicer than anyone else and sensitive to other people's feelings. You always try to help people and get involved, but you wish you would someone would return the favor deep down. Okay, interesting. We need to go to a place to sleep. I'm a mom.
We've reached our destination.
Technically, I'm the opposite of a mom because I basically guessed like opposite of everything, aside from the love me one, because that one was funny. I just thought this was a funny answer. I just want someone to love me. Yeah, you're a mother figure. Huh. Neat. A forged weapon. We got a bunch of new stuff. We can make the Atonement Edge. Yes. Craft and equip. New title. Arm Sommelier. Normal attack level. Sweet. Let's see. The knowledge honed in pursuit of the finest masterpiece has delivered a weapon worthy of a true master. Oh yeah, give me that.
I always love the sound of hams banging away.
Any new armor? Nope.
Damn.
Okay, she can get Nature's Beauty, 3rd edition. Yep. He can get his Tyrant Fist. Storied arm brace is said to have been used by a medical student. I wonder who that could be. As basis of both offense and defense, the dominant hand's armor is reinforced. We stole Jude's weapons. Let's see. With an even tougher blade than before, no foe can stand its immense pressure. Crap. Medical student. Fuck you, Kane. Bow watering can. What the fuck? A concealed gun used by an assassin posing as a farmer. Don't tend to flowers with it. The only thing pouring out of the spout is deadly bullets. It's not even that good, but its penetration is absolutely amazing. What the hell? Oh, 16 physical attack, 16 arts attack, 616 piercing. I'll keep the stronger attack, but that is still pretty funny. Oh yeah, the pork fork is the same thing. Super high piercing. That's probably why he wasn't dealing a lot of damage, because the pork fork is garbage damage, high piercing. Let's see, red shield. A shield with distinct red lines found lying in a tower that stretches to the heavens. It's said to be able to block powerful astral arts. Craft and equip. And we're out of materials. Oh no, we're out of money. Now we got money. Craft weapon again. Alright, so he can get his Supreme Crystal Knuckles. Let's see, usability has been sacrificed in the name of achieving maximum hardness. Then Rapid Plushies, another one. I like how the joke weapons actually have some kind of purpose. Cute Rapid Plushies that can be strapped onto the wearer's arms and have several different expressions. Carrot and Owl sold separately. It's all expensive. Yep, we're just out of materials. We need more indomitable gargantubones.
Have you guys checked your equipment lately?
I'm drenched in sweat.
Good to know.
This looks perfect.
Dohalim, care if I hang out for a while? Another fine day for journeying, huh?
Tell me, do you ever find yourself tiring of the vagabond existence?
Never.
It's better than being enslaved, that's for sure. I get to pick my own destination, for starters. You don't get those luxuries as a slave.
Shackle a man's feet, and you put a clamp on his heart as well.
Then there was the food. Gross slop that left you in a permanent state of hunger. Ugh, you wouldn't believe the things I ate to keep from starving.
Dude, the mask.
What about you? This must all sound pretty alien to someone who used to be a lord.
Is that a hint of interest in my past I detect?
I guess that's one way to put it.
Well, certainly starvation was never a concern I had to contend with. The day-to-day grind was largely taken care of for me. I even had help getting in and out of clothes. All that was required of me was standing still while looking solemn.
That's quite the downgrade you've made. It's a wonder you don't sound more bitter.
This might surprise you, but I actually don't find our current situation all that disagreeable. My own hardships paled in comparison to yours, granted. But life as a lord came laden with its own restrictions. Forgive me. Such complaints must sound like feeble extravagances to a Danon.
True, Renan opulence doesn't feature high on my sympathy list. And again, yours isn't exactly a normal case.
I suppose it's not. Sometimes, I can't help but wonder how much easier life would have been without the trappings of nobility.
You really mean that?
Pay me no heed. Not but the ramblings of a privileged eccentric. Whatever my past, it has led to my being here. That is all the reality I need concern myself with. Next time, what say we discuss relics?
We only have so many. We need more.
Shall we get moving?
Let's think of what we need to do. I believe I wanted to check the... what was it? Menancia. Here. This guy. I
Finally.
think we caught enough fish to get
If
a...
only we could have flown with the wind to
present.
get here faster.
Yeah. Marine floater. Surface fluid that works on some saltwater fish, but is much less effective with freshwater fish. Okay. Pinfall was added like a lot through marshlands. Well, I guess let's see what that new lure is good for.
Now where might those fish be?
Cave sea bass, Vesper sea bass, and Karasuba sea bream. I don't recognize any of those. Guess we might as well just head to Uzbek. Yeah, we never looked at the sky after that. Is the weird spiral still there?
Calaglia. Feels like it's been ages.
And
cloudy.
wasn't Zephyr with us too?
Dad.
Hey, chin up. This is your hometown.
Liberated Calaglia.
Everyone around here looks so much happier than they used to.
I'll say. It feels like an entirely different place. I suppose it's had time to adjust to its newfound freedom.
Zephyr would have been so happy to see this.
Yeah, he really would have. Especially if he knew Law was... Law? Something bothering you, Law?
Nah, I'll be fine. It's just, you know.
It still weighs on you, doesn't it? Running away back then.
I abandoned my home. Then when I finally come back, it's been liberated. What's important is that it's free. I get that, I do. I just... I should have been here.
Oh, hello. Damn, is that you, Alphen? Way to rock the maskless look. What brings you back to my neck of the woods? Wait, do I really want to hear this? It's not bad news again, is it? What do you mean by again? Talking about Lenegis, of course. Ever since that thing showed up in the ocean, it's been mass panic. People are losing their minds. We know. That's why we're trying to do something about it right now. I figured you were on the case. Anything I could do to help? We're looking for a starship. You wouldn't happen to have seen one lying around, would you? A starship? You mean one of those things that the Renans used to go between Dana and Lenegis? Last time I saw one of those was when this last crown contest kicked off, I reckon. This one's kind of special. Came down to the planet way back in the past. Hey, beggars can't be choosers, you know. But maybe Nathan knows knows of the one you're talking about. If anyone would know, he would. We'll find him at HQ. Thanks. I think we'll do just that. It's right here, isn't it?
Just one thing after another, and it all falls on my head to...
Hey, Nath.
What? Can't you see I'm... Alphen?
You're not Alphen, I'm Alphen.
Looks like you have your hands full.
As much as ever. As if I wasn't busy enough putting down the last remnants of Renan rule, I'm up to my ears in Danan disputes. And then, to top it all off, that thing had to come crashing down from out of the sky.
Pretty sure we've heard this somewhere before.
Yep.
But enough about my problems. What can I help you with?
Yeah, we're looking for an old Renan starship. You wouldn't happen to know any around these parts, would you?
A starship? What do you need one of those for?
To get to Lenegis.
Lenegis? Are you out of your damn mind?
Yes.
Believe it or not, it wouldn't be the craziest thing we've done recently.
Oh, I believe it. Well, either way, I'm afraid I haven't heard anything about a starship.
Then do you have any historical records by chance?
Sure, we've got stacks of old records.
Mind if we take a look at them?
Yeah, okay.
Thanks, Nath.
I read through all of the records, but I only found a single line that might point to what we're looking for. It mentions a rock that shot across the sky and landed past the mountains. The event was recorded just before the first Renan invasion.
And you think that might be the starship?
I don't know. There was nothing else in the records that came even close. It looked like it was someplace called Berg, but maybe I'm reading it wrong.
Berg?
That ring any bells for you?
Yeah, that's one of the biggest volcanoes in Calaglia. I was just there recently, investigating a report of a meteor someone saw.
Another meteor in the same area? Really?
I wonder if it could have been one of those lights that shot out of the wedge.
All the more reason to check it out. Can you tell us how to get there?
The old Zion mine is up that way. One of the veins we abandoned connects to the volcano.
Oh, we're
Go
going
ahead
back
and
to
use
the
that.
mine.
But you should be careful.
Huh?
I don't know if it has anything to do with the meteor. But there's a giant Zoogle running riot in there. Never seen anything like it.
A Zoogle, huh?
Well, I turned back as soon as I caught sight of the thing, so I can't tell you much more. Just be real careful if you head out that way.
That big Zoogle better be careful. Nath, are you ready or what? No, I didn't see you were there, Blazing Sword. And I see... You're Law, aren't you? Zephyr's kid. Damn, when did you get so tall? Can't believe a little pipsqueak like you is running around with the Blazing Sword himself. I'm sure your old man would be proud.
All right.
Go without me. I'll catch up later. Got it, boss. See you around, Law. Don't work too hard now. Do you know that guy?
I guess...
Can't say I do. Even if I met the guy before, last time I would have seen him would have been when I was real little. Could at least say hello back to him. And the reason my dad's gone, remember? You know how much they looked up to him here. Law. Sorry for getting sidetracked. Let's just head out. Hey, is Law doing okay? Not really. Zephyr's death is still weighing on him pretty hard. Can't say I blame him. Even if it's not his fault, that's a big thing to have to carry at his age.
Right.
Yeah, but he's trying his best to come to terms with it. I have faith he'll pull through. Good. He's gonna need your support. He's still just a kid, and Zephyr's only one at that.
I didn't like the sound of that monster Nath was talking about one bit.
Well, we have to press on. We're going through Zion Mine to Berg Volcano. Let's move.
Poodle's plumage.
Everything okay with Hootle, Rinwell? He seems kinda out of spirits.
It must be the heat getting to him. We don't get these kind of temperatures back in Cislodia.
Galaglians born and raised here struggle with it too, so it's no surprise.
Aha! So that's why his plumage is so white. He was born in a winter wonderland.
Actually, Dan and owls absorb the astral energy of whatever land they're raised in. Where they're born doesn't affect their appearance at all. But that's not why he's white. The real reason is that he's still just a baby.
You mean their plumage changes color depending on where they grow up? Weird.
And with all this traveling we've been doing, it wouldn't surprise me if his wings ended up looking like a colorful painting.
I think he suits his snowy complexion. It'll feel strange to see him change.
How awesome would it be if his head and wings were different colors? And his stomach and sides, like a map of our travels! Ow, lay off, will ya? So much for the heat making him docile!
You've only yourself to blame for that one. Hootle takes pride in his appearance, you know.
Fascinating. An appreciation of aesthetic beauty in an owlet so young.
Dohalim, I think you've drawn his attention.
When I look at you guys doing your thing, somehow deep down I feel like everything's going to be okay in the end. Noted. Nothing's changed. I'm not gonna wander around town for now. Head to Berg Volcano. Oh. Side path. Just opened up.
We've reached our destination.
It's quite hot here.
Hi, Hoodle!
Resonate with you
Bye.
away! Stalagmite!
Nice. No scratches on my shield or my armor.
Rip walking around dialogue. I was mentally dedicated to fighting that thing as we were walking by.
There.
Something feels odd here. Be on your guard.
So we're back in the Zion Mine tunnels. Who would have thought we'd be going through this place again? This is where you and I first fought together.
And also the first time we touched, as I recall.
Wait, really?
Yes, really.
Yeah, this seems a little bit new.
So this path is supposed to take us out to Berg Volcano?
We're not gonna see any lava burst out in front of us or anything, are we?
Don't get so paranoid you let a rock fall on your head, Law.
Ooh, rock. Starship. Berg.
Ugh, so hot.
Well, yeah. We've reached the inner portion of Berg Volcano.
We need to find that starship. And fast.
Can't punch through that rock. Why?
This will be a delicious blizzard. Water confiscated.
It's over!
Annihilation. It's a brilliant.
I'm not
More where
done!
that came from.
Pesky airborne scoundrels.
Sounds like a job for yours truly.
Position, precision, timing. All a perfect 10.
That's it? Nothing else to add?
You take meticulous care of your fire.
You are in tip-top shape.
As soon as I'm done here, come help out.
How could a girl ever say no?
As impressive as always.
Is there anything we can do?
No, I mean, you're even better than ever.
I've never seen
That was almost too easy.
No enemy can stand against us.
Stones.
If only every battle went so well.
Ooh, these guys.
Damn it!
Get lost.
Here I come!
Not on my watch.
This one keeps charging us!
That's what my shield's for. Get behind me.
Got it! I'll leave it to you!
All right. It's the black and white their weak point.
No armor can stop me!
Remind me to stand at this side.
Supernova. Dance in
Ready?
the wind.
Try harder! Not a chance!
Air thrust.
An astral art?
That's my cue.
Shut him down!
Oh, I didn't even realize that one was glowing.
You picked the wrong fight!
Hold on to your arm. Here I come.
This is looking good. I'm ready. Light burst forth.
Radiant Genesis! You don't mess around.
I'm not done.
Certainly not.
Confiscated.
Severing wind. Lunar Rondo. Mirage. Coming through. Ha! Now. Scarlet Inferno. Catapult.
Radiant Cascade! Spread!
Take this. We've turned the tables on them.
There are still more left.
Right. No time to look back.
No more Miss Nice Girl!
Lunar Rondo.
Just what I
Reflect on thy sin. They smite with blackened blade.
do it! Beyond Astral Energy! Full throttle!
I know fine weapon material when I see it.
Gothic dress. A dress woven using traditional methods native to Dana. Nobody capable of weaving this intricate, beautiful patterns remains in this day and age.
This might be some decent equipment.
Anything that makes battles easier is okay by me.
Straight upgrade. I really should have went through the accessories to see if there's any good stuff we can make now. Too late now. Let's keep going.
Huh.
Well, there's no way we're climbing that. So it seems. Allow me to step in. But you're not thinking of trying to vault over with your rod, are you? Why, I hadn't even thought of that. In any case, stand back. I'll handle this. Can be used to bridge gaps in rocky paths that end abruptly. Build a new path forward.
You can make plants grow instantly? What if we use this for fruits and vegetables?
I'd rather not be our party's fertilizer. Thank you very much.
Little
He has
help!
a fine argument for that.
Smash you.
Thunderfield!
Stay calm. I shall provide assistance.
Their hide is thick as armor!
You picked the wrong fight. Seismic rupture. Why'd you human?
To stop you dying?
Do it! This ends now!
Consider yourself finished. Now.
Lunar corruption!
Raining. Here I come. Ready and ready.
Annihilation! Now!
Radiant strike!
Radiant Astral Energy! Full throttle!
Let's keep our eyes on the prize.
Yeah, I haven't checked to see if some people have enough SP to upgrade. Let's see. Numbra. Let me get him these. Both those are good to have. Very good quality of life.
Hi, Hoodle! Glacial Spear! Where are you going? If it's in the sky, it's mine! Not in your dreams! Lightning! Do it!
Raining Dohaline. In an instant. Impact Claw. We
Got
work
him.
well
I got
together.
another one.
Like a finely timed waltz.
Am I on a roll or what?
Well, look who's in a bright and shiny mood.
Now I think about it. In this situation, we'll swap those two. So we have more damage per second. We keep doling around. If we fight something strong, we need a second healer and a reviver.
Go no
Mostly a
further!
reviver.
Illuminate this! Denied!
Take this.
Is it cool? Time to get out of the way.
Do it, Dohaline!
Light burst forth.
Radiant Genesis! Here,
No.
here goes!
I'll finish you here and now!
You picked the wrong fight!
Armor won't save you! Then I'll split it open!
Be my guest! You're mine! I'm not done!
Blew away!
Burning slap! Blew away!
Now I'm in the groove!
Burning slap!
All
Blew
good
away!
things come to an end!
I'll stop its charge. Thanks, Kisara.
In a bind?
Dragon Roar! Vacuum Blade!
I'm on it!
Demon Fang!
You get the gist. And here.
Roll now!
Dragon Swarm!
Talon Hurricane! Glimmer Blade!
The flame inside me yearns to be let free!
Talon Hurricane!
This should make for some good weapon crafting material.
My face is starting to sting. And my throat feels super parched.
Here, have some water. Just make sure you don't drink too much.
Thanks.
You want some too, Shion? Oh, wait. I bet you're hungry more than anything, aren't you?
I'm fine, thank you very much.
Anybody want a lemon gel? Yep.
Guess I misread the landing.
This will be a delicious piece of cake. Here's the evil.
I'm on a roll now!
Sleep now.
Now I'm in the groove! Are those rocks and skin?
The flashing parts are weak points.
You're mine!
Oh, now you're talking!
A chain between heaven and earth. A wailing gambit field.
Oh! Now I'm real mad!
Blow away!
It's weakened.
This ends now!
Rain down and purify all.
Wow.
This way.
Look what I just found.
Money.
Hi, Hoodle.
I'm not done!
Not on my watch.
I'll smash you!
It's over! Take this! I'm not done!
Just getting started!
Now. This ends now.
Consider yourself finished! Come and face me!
Lightning
Blow away! Blow away!
See what happened there is you crossed me. Shouldn't have done that.
Charge really?
Like that could easily be fatal. Just as well, I'm here to stop. I'm sorry to
Got
be
delayed by the
We've all
overload.
got enough on our plate.
Yes, ma'am. I'll crush you! Lightning
Fantastic.
reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
Here I come! No escape! Dragon Swarm!
Here's the evil.
You're mine! Strike! Lunar Rondo!
Showtime!
Now. This ends now.
Consider yourself finished!
Well then, I should probably think about tonight's menu.
There we go. Now we got a way back. Bro. Literally instant.
This will be a delicious piece of cake.
Not today!
I can carve through shattering pieces!
You have the right area on their back.
In a bind, death blossom! Raining flying freak! Why can't they just sit still?
Shion, can you take care of them?
No sooner said than done.
I can carve through. I'll finish you here and now!
I'm out of ammo.
You're mine!
I
don't know what I'd do without you.
Neon, astral energy, full throttle.
A flawless victory.
Naturally.
The enemy would unscrew.
You'll soon see about that.
Vanish without a trace!
Blew away! Lunar Rondo!
Super
Tornado Alpha!
Storm! Hear my call! Super Solo Spread! Glacial Spear! A chain between now! Dueling! This one's got your name on it!
Ashes to ashes.
Dance
Not
in the
a chance.
wind!
I'm not done.
In here!
Shattering
Lunar
Rondo.
Or you don't.
I'm
You're
not
not getting
done.
away.
Lunar Rondo.
Here
Stunner.
comes!
Dragon Tail. Hurricane
Blast
Thrust.
Blade!
Take this. I'm not
Lunar
done.
Corruption!
Do it.
Neon Astral Energy! Full throttle! Hey! Poodle's quivering! I think we're about to be real lucky!
Box. Brigandine. Light armor lined with countless pieces of metal that make it highly flexible and adjustable to each wearer's unique physique.
Hey, new equipment.
Armor for her. Oh, she also has Elemental Guard, which is significantly better. When did I pick this up? Light armor imbued with earth, water, fire, and wind astral energy, giving it high resistance to both physical attacks and astral arts. Good armor. You can see, when did we pick that up? Cannot remember.
No choice. Take this. I'll smash you. Take this. Raining Slash. Dragon Shell. Flew away. Raining Slash. Flew away. I'll smash you. I'll finish you here and now. Turbine Alpha. That's enough.
Kitara, frozen!
Hammer.
Quite necessary when creating weaponry.
It's down here. What? Construct? Make bridges too?
This bridge will hold itself together, right?
Most definitely.
Fuck.
An opponent like this should be easy.
I'm like bait to them! If it's in the sky, it's mine! Confiscated! Hold on to your art! Here I come! Whoa!
I'm not done. Demon Fang.
Astral Energy!
Say no more. Got it.
Well done!
You're mine. Lunar Rondo. I'll finish you here and now.
You are in tip-top shape!
As soon as I'm done here, come help out.
How could a girl ever say no?
As impressive as always.
Where I hope that was improved.
No, I mean, you're even better than ever.
I've never seen Sion actually look flustered.
Flew away. Raining Slash. Flew away. Do it.
We managed to pull through.
Another fancy chest. Mystic Cloak. Cloak containing water astral energy. It emits an invisible fog, softening the blow of any attacks that come the wearer's way. Here you go. How did these plants even grow in this environment? Wait a fucking minute. Is there a freaking actual ladder behind this thing? No, there isn't. It's just wood. For a second I thought, like, there's just a ladder behind the foliage. And if there was, my goodness, that would have been the most hilarious, lazy thing. And I would have been extra surprised that I hadn't noticed it before. But we're safe. Everything is safe.
No backing down.
A wailing banshee of lightning!
Flew away.
Healing circle!
Be careful not to overdo it.
I'm sorry. You bet. Commander of Heaven.
Phoenix Cyclone!
We're in good form.
Come on.
Let's dispose of the trash.
You're finished.
Confiscated!
Dragon Swarm.
Water astral energy! Power of flame!
Tornado Alpha.
Astral energy!
Say no more!
Well done!
Now, you're mine!
Burning
Sword Rain Alpha!
Pierce evil!
Raining
Freeze
Take
lantern!
it! Strike!
By the power now! Astral energy!
Say no more!
Easy peasy. Ha hoodle.
Red flag.
I can carve through armor!
Strike!
First strike!
Bow tie flash!
Eat dirt!
Confiscated! Lunar corruption! Water you
I'm
got
not
by the
done.
power of water!
Watch it!
Light astral energy to run!
Vacuum blade!
Holy land! No more playing nice!
I'm on Demon
Every
Blade!
word you're going!
Yours to be let
A
free!
wailing banshee of lightning! Divine savior!
Burn in hell!
Healing circle!
I can carve through armor!
Burning strike!
As impressive as always.
So much for sitting this fight out.
That wouldn't be a
No, I mean, it's time to finish this! Die! Consuming wildfire!
No escape!
Steel force! Whirlwind snap!
Blow away!
We got the advantage.
Good.
Just have to make sure we keep it. Don't worry, cause laws on.
Freeze lantern!
Not done!
Downward hurricane! Primed and ready!
Denied! I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes!
Kill it.
Tenebrous claw!
Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Oh well.
Phoenix Cyclone! Step back, this one's all law!
Red Sage. I think that's the attack one.
Callous. Calcified. Calaglia.
What kind of poem is that?
A sparse one.
We're coming through! Annihilate! The power of flame! Vanish without a trace!
Take this!
Don't mind if I do!
I can carve through armor!
A whirling struggle!
Hit a word! Hurt smoke!
Blow away!
Got it!
You picked the wrong
Now
fight!
what's in?
You see what happened there as you crossed?
Go off.
Light astral energy! Magic
There we
is
go.
astral energy!
Say no more!
Well done!
No escape!
And again!
Now you see what I can do!
Watch
There!
this! Lightning!
Blow away!
Downfall! Lightning rock!
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
I can feel my precision improving.
And we got box, gold gel, and rock. Tier 1 Hexbreaker. I'm still surprised that we haven't gotten each rank of everything yet. Still finding new ones.
It's crazy to see rocks melt before our eyes.
Watch where you're going, everyone. If you fall, there will be nothing left of you.
Exactly. So don't try anything funny. Especially you, Law. No pushing anyone, not even as a joke.
I'm not a little kid!
That's no ordinary.
Gold.
This one's tough, but we have no choice.
Let me know if you need healing.
Further!
Water! Hear my
Blow
call!
away!
Illuminate
You picked the wrong fight!
Oh, forgot him.
I'll take you all off! Take this!
A wailing banshee of lightning!
Smash you! It's time!
Raining Demon Blade!
Again! I'll finish you here and now!
Vacuum Blade! Vacuum Blade!
Inferno Punch! Do it!
Here I go! In an instant! Impact Block!
Here's a healing hold on to your heart! Here I come!
You need to get the blazing sword?
Holy
and looking thorns.
Hold now! Get toasty!
Burn strike!
Right, next one!
Already on it! The flame inside me yearns to be
You're
lit free.
really, really strong, Alvin.
I'm just trying to do the best I can.
Still,
Sword Rain
it's
Alpha!
reassuring to have you around.
I've been prepped.
Commander of Heaven! Phoenix Cyclone!
Am I on a roll or what?
Oh,
Well, look who's in a bright and shiny mood.
this is the way to something. Instruct.
I didn't know you had that sort of trick up your sleeve, Dohalim. I would have figured rocks and plants would be too different for you to handle both.
Not necessarily.
Absolute.
Both of them contain Earth astral energy. Luckily for me, this area is rich not only in fire energy, but Earth as well.
Absolute protection for absolute peace of mind. That was a design ethos for this defensive gear layered with chainmail, light armor, and plating. That means there's nothing better than it, right? Oh, it's a shortcut. Dodge all the battles, but why would you do that? Why would you avoid fighting everything? Sounds like a stupid plan.
Go no further!
Armor won't save you! Not today! I'm on it! Blow away! Dragon Shout! I'm just getting started! Blow away!
The weak point! Illuminate the top!
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw! I'm on
Use
it!
a healing arc! First aid!
Do it! Look sharp! Lightning tiger
That
blade!
guy like one more hit.
Training's paying off!
A wailing banshee of the healing circle!
Talon storm! Raining slash! Blow away!
Do it! Sion! Astral energy! Full throttle!
All aboard the victory train!
Overcome.
No backing down!
Raging cat!
Not good!
Confiscated!
Dragon storm!
Here, let me help! First aid! Just what I needed!
That's enough! Hit a word! Earth force! Now something through! Hurricane thrust! Lunar rondo!
What would I do without you? I owe you, Sion.
Healing is what my arts do best.
Do it! Demon's descent! Flashing fang! Easy!
Way to go!
Now you see what I can do! Time to let it rip! Blow away! Raining splash!
Here goes!
Blow away! Blow away! Raining splash! Blow away! Come one, come all! No escape! Blow away! It's finished!
Let's do it!
Ready? Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet and... Hey, I'm pretty lucky.
There we go. That's everything. Still haven't gotten a message from my friend. You're supposedly going to lunch, but it's currently noon, but I haven't gotten a message back. Alright. Big arena. Oh. Hello. That sort of looks like the fire spirit that came out of the thing.
What the hell is that thing?
Probably that monster Nath warned us about, if I had to guess.
Do you think this might have been where one of those lights that shot out of the wedge landed?
But why this location? If the purpose of the wedge is to harvest Dana's astral energy.
We can figure that out later. If that thing gets into town, it's going to cause chaos. We need to take it down and move on.
What's it called?
Let's go! This one's tough, but we have no
Efreet's
choice.
Lava.
Let
Best
me know if you
Efreet
need
design
healing.
by far. It looks so badass.
Here it comes! Focus!
On your toes, everyone.
Suddenly turning tail doesn't seem so ridiculous.
Why? Are you scared?
Me? Are you?
Do you even have to ask? Of course I'm scared.
Focus up before we become that thing's lunch.
It's summoning Zoogles?
Take care of them while keeping an eye on it! I'll stop its charge!
Thanks, Kisara.
I'll smash you!
Please now.
They smite with blackened blade!
Raining
Execution!
Raining flash!
Ready and ready!
Mouth laser.
Supernova! Raging Cascade! Lunar
Raining
Corruption!
flash!
Demon
Fang!
A wailing Fancy of Lightning!
The other three designs got you concerned? I mean, we haven't seen the other designs.
It looks like you
At least I don't think we have.
have.
I thought
Sealed.
Efreet was going to be like legit fire spear, but now we have a we basically have it as a giant fire golem, and I love it. Mixed with like
Got it.
it,
Now's our chance.
like the design just looks really good. I can't put my finger on the best way to describe
Do
it.
it. Get toasty.
Burn strike!
But I like the badass giant magma stone monster look.
A wailing Banshee of Lightning. Mega Ray. You got company. I'll be saving you without a trace.
On your knees.
All right, it's showtime. Here. Far enough.
It's not charging, it's just attacking 3 times in a row.
Glacial Spear. Here's the evil. Technique and Raging Cascade. Here's a healing arm.
My turn!
Dance on the wind!
I'm only getting
Wide open!
It won't escape me!
You're mine!
Illuminate the dark. Holy quiver.
Blackened blade!
Do it, Kisara. Frozen.
Hammer!
What you gonna do, bud?
Here come more!
You'll just have to keep fighting.
The enemy wields arts too.
We'll soon see about that.
The forest spirits being all zoogalized, you know how you feel about it?
Healing Breeze Lancer. One more time. Do it. Air thrust.
Well, Efreet's always been kind of a monster.
My turn!
Undyne, Undine, or Undine, depending on which Tales game you're playing, is the one that's more human-like. And also the wind one, I think, is usually more humanized.
As impressive
Volt
as always.
better be just a giant ball of eyes, though. They cannot
No,
change that.
I mean, you're even better than ever. I've never seen Theon actually look better.
Don't mind if I do.
The Volt is a giant ball with eyes, we riot.
Now,
Light burst forth!
Radiant Genesis. You don't mess around.
You don't think it's going to be the case in this game? Volt's look is iconic.
Do it, Law. Demon's Descent.
Flashing fang!
It's on!
Cannot flee.
Reinforcements incoming!
Not a problem.
Still no.
Not on my watch. Coming
As soon as I'm done here, come help out.
How could a girl ever say no? They're all coming after me.
I'm coming, Ridwell.
I'm not scared. I'm totally fine.
Can't move.
Ow.
Lightning orb! A banana, let's go!
Got smashed.
Holy land! Now!
Ridwell! Light burst forth.
Radiant genesis!
Not a chance.
Lightning condemned! Confiscated! Hold on to your heart. Here I come!
From the wind. No further. We did it! Shine! No, radiant light! Boost of regeneration! Regenerate!
When you're desperate, then tonight's meal is on you.
Keep going. Here I come!
Don't mind if I do.
Bring it!
A banana, let's go! Thunder!
I just keep getting my ass handed to me. This is some punishment.
A wailing banshee of fire! Healing circle! Thanks! Thanks for the healing. Watch yourself, okay? Yeah, you too.
Heal my weary companion. Now we're not. Let us take it. The flame inside me yearns to be let free.
Here, let me
Blow
help.
away.
Winds of pain! First
Now, while it's reeling.
take it down. In here.
You're mine.
Please,
Fluid
let's
escape.
be well tucked away.
Blow away.
Pain between heaven and earth.
Death shall not
Blow
A
away.
wailing dance, don't mind if I do.
It's ready.
Nara, frozen.
Pressed it a little bit too early. Are you done yet? Stop.
It's about to strike.
Look sharp, everyone.
Everyone all right?
No. Shield, get up.
We won't surrender. We won't retreat. Not yet.
Whatever you do, just please stay safe.
Resuscitation.
How are we supposed to take on something so big?
I'll handle it.
Alpha.
Watch and learn. That's enough.
Yeah, there we go. Just take it out like Titan in Final Fantasy 15. Really? Wow, it only... That's kind of pathetic. It only took one hit.
Everyone okay?
Yeah, I think so.
They just get tired and leave.
That thing scared the pants off me.
It felt like it had a different aura than other Zeugles, didn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't like the one that Almadria sicked on us either.
Its elemental astral energy variance was out of this world. It was like fighting a lord.
I guess it's safe to assume that if it came out of the wedge, it must have played some part in helping harvest astral energy. But what?
Perhaps a living spirit vessel? It's plausible, given the location. Or it may be part of a new force dispatched to regain control of Dana.
If we assume that monster was one of the 4 beams of light, we must have prevented something from taking place here.
I'd like to think so, knowing how much grief it gave us. But at least with that out of the way, we can keep moving forward now. Let's go.
Okay. Alpin, Unrelenting Blaze. More AG. More evasion distance. Great, the other 3 are now side missions. Yeah. I was just thinking that. Like, the other 3 are just optional. Kinda lame, but I was gonna do them anyway at some point. They haven't been mentioned to be required yet. Secret key. The key to a certain door in Calaglia. Simply beholding it makes one wonder what lies beyond the threshold. I know what that goes to. I know for a fact.
My
That's what-
exploits
that's
are
what that
bearing
goes to.
fruit.
It's that one door in the fire trench. I know it. Where the hell are we?
Hey, is that it over there?
Ooh. If you're having trouble getting back to town, I can lend you a hand. Supreme Fire Claw craft. Supreme Ignis Roar upgrade. Still can't make that. I need Cursed Claw and Chameleon Hides. Prime Farming Issue 1. A monthly magazine packed with tips on farming. It opens with a special feature titled Tired No More. Top 10 snacks to have on break. Not a bad joke book. Shame we can't make it. You can get these Supreme Flaming Knights. So hot and unrelenting are its flames that some describe it as Hellfire Incarnate. Farm Fence. We're low on money. Machete Carrot. A carrot that veered wildly off the beaten evolutionary path. Unlike its duller brethren, this carrot is here to chop, not be chopped. Love it. Let's see what stuff we can sell. See, Supreme Petrum Pole. The stone rod with parents guarded into it. Its greatly increased mass lets it crush virtually everything to dust. Craft. And then Hanuman Shaft. A rod said to belong to a monkey with supernatural powers. In the hands of one lord, it can easily be extended like the legends claim. Cool. Craft and equip. And then we're back to money issues again. Don't you like how there's no music at all? I know I love it. Supreme Feathered Shield. It gives the wielder the strength of tornadoes when deployed. Crap. Let's see. Its latest upgrades maximize the power of Earth to its greatest potential. Crap. And we need money for the final upgrade. Supreme Flashbang Shield. Facing its light in this final form is akin to staring straight into the sun itself. Crafted. Now we just need her farm fence, her best item. Yeah, we wanted to look for attack up 60 on some of these. Level 4 and above. We want attack and we want elemental attack. money is becoming a very apparent issue. Penetration, attack.
I always love the sound of hammers banging away.
We'll see how things turn out later, but for now, I'll just see the ship.
Alvin?
Did you remember something?
No, but I have seen this starship before. This is it. This is the ship I traveled in when I escaped from Lenegis.
Use a little bit of cleaning.
3 centuries later, and it's no worse for wear. I'll take a look at the internals.
Damn! I'm amazed it still works at all after all this time.
The past meets the present. I really am from a different time and place.
In addition, we have the cliche of basically finding
Yeah,
the ancient
you've got us
civilization
now,
that's highly
Alvin.
advanced.
Not only that, but you've helped out so many
Technically.
people too.
300
Law's
years in the
right.
past, and it's still
Ringwell too.
way more than anything
You're
else we
one
got
of
here.
us now. No more carrying the weight of history on your shoulders. You're a part of this world.
Right. Thanks, you guys.
Seriously, 300 years is a long time for, like, everything to stagnate that hard. Like, Lenegis doesn't
How's
have
it
much
look?
more advanced technology.
It should fly. All internal systems seem to be operating. However, considering how long it's remained inactive, I suspect it will take some time before it's ready for takeoff.
Well, that's convenient.
How much time are we talking here?
Starship mechanics are not what I'd call my forte, so I'd rather not hazard a guess.
So we've just got to sit around here and wait? I'm terrible at waiting.
That's because you're a child. Oh, but how about we use this time to prepare and gather supplies for the trip?
Good idea. Who knows when we'll be back from Lenegis once we leave. We should prepare ourselves for every possible scenario before we go.
Let's try not to stay away too long. I'd hate for anything to happen to the place while we're gone.
Either we race ahead, or we take due precaution to ensure we have no regrets. I shall leave it up to you as to how we proceed, Alphen.
Is this a point
Works
of no
for me.
return? Flying up to Lenegis. Wait until the ship is ready for takeoff. I mean, I guess they'll give us a heads up.
It's funny, isn't it?
What is?
All this. When we first started this thing, did you ever imagine we'd be going to Lenegis?
Yeah.
After all, this is the sort of thing I was rebelling against when I ran away from home, right?
I'm sure Zephyr would be proud if he knew what his son was doing right now.
And a little shocked, too.
We're defying the order of things that have persisted for 300 years. Deep down, I knew our journey would lead to confronting Lenegis.
Yeah, you maybe, but you're a Renan. The rest of us can barely even picture what it means to leave Dana.
No offense to Shion and Dohalim, but it's worth remembering we're heading into enemy territory.
No offense taken, and this is no picnic for me either.
Remember, our aim is to ensure that both Lenegis and the Renan homeworld leave Dana alone for good. I don't think we'll be able to avoid a fight.
Is there no way we can talk them into leaving us alone?
The people of Lenegis?
Sure. I mean, We found a way to make it work with Xion and Dohalim, right? And it's not just us. If places like Menancia can do it, then why can't we?
Because there are still many of my kind who believe it was right and natural that Rena reigns over Dana. There are those on Lenegis who have never stepped foot on Dana. I doubt whether they'd even listen to Danans.
Look, none of us want to fight. But these are the same people who fired that wedge down on Dana. What happens next is on them.
Right. We're not going to sit back and wait for them to oppress us again.
Right.
Don't forget, there's also a good chance the Red Woman is somewhere on Lenegis. And wherever she is, we should find the Renaissance too.
That's right. If we can take it back, then Xion can finally get rid of her thorns. Xion?
Huh? Yeah.
So is the ship gonna like beep or something when it's ready to go?
Where? Xion?
Your party disbanded.
Where'd Xion go? How could she just go off on her own? She's not over there. Where did she run off to? Xion.
Found her.
Xion. Xion! It's your thorns? But why? You okay? Just now, it looked like you used your maiden powers to suppress your thorns. You can really do that?
Stay out of my way.
Wait a second. Are you planning to go alone?
Shut up!
Why would you do this?
I told you to shut up!
I won't let you.
I mean it.
I refuse to let you.
I won't tell you again. Move or I'll shoot.
If that's the case, then go ahead and shoot me!
Do you remember back when I was stabbed? By Volron?
Yeah. I thought for sure that he had killed you back there.
That wasn't the first time.
Huh?
The first time was when I was only a child. After that, no matter how often, I just couldn't die.
Huh.
Couldn't die? So you're immortal? How's that even...
I believe you, Xion. But tell me how is something like that possible?
My thorns. They're me, but at the same time not. They're part of me. I have no idea why, but my thorns will never let me die. At least not before I'm meant to.
You can't die before your death?
When my thorns free themselves, it will be my death. I've seen it. A darkness that swallows up everything until nothing remains. It's a vision of oblivion I can't escape. I want to believe it's all just a bad dream. But no matter what I tell myself, I know it's not.
Yeah, but you... Wait. The whole reason you needed the Renaissance was to get rid of your thorns, right?
If I burn away what's inside, then what will happen to the rest of me? Right. Either way you look at it, I'm going to die. But if I am going to die, I figure I can at least take my thorns out with me. That's what I've been after this whole time.
That's why you turned your back on your fellow Renans and chose to fight with us, isn't it? And while we've all been fighting to keep on living, you have been with us fighting desperately to die.
That was the plan. But then I met all of you. And before I knew it, I didn't want to die anymore.
Shion, don't lose hope yet. We'll find a way to save you. There's still time to.
It's pointless.
Why?
Because the darkness won't just consume me. The truth is, it will consume all of existence as well. It was only a suspicion at first. But ever since the Red Woman triggered my maiden powers, I've been more certain than ever before. It was then that I finally came to realize my powers were holding my thorns in check the entire time. But they don't anymore. Not since Lenegis, when the wedge fell. Every day, I feel the thorn's power growing stronger inside of me. Pretty soon, I won't be able to hold them back anymore. And when that happens,
They will consume all existence.
And that's why you wanted to leave by yourself. You planned to find the Renaissance on your own and sacrifice yourself to stop the Thorns.
But that's... too much. It's way too much.
when this all began, I didn't care what happened to me or anyone else. And what happened to the Renans or the Danans didn't matter to me at all. I know I have to die, but I don't want to. Not now that I have this. I wish we had never met. Then I wouldn't have to feel this way.
Shion!
Elfin?
Living for the sake of dying is no better than being a slave. How can you endure this?
Elfin.
It's not fair. I don't care what anybody says. I won't let it happen. We can fight this. Fight until the end together. Isn't that what you said to me before?
Even if it should mean that it'll be the end of everything else, too?
Shion, what do you want? It's your decision, ultimately. But if you decide not to fight fate, I will. Even if I have to do it alone.
No, you won't be alone. I'll fight as well.
Count me in as well. I want to be a force for good, not hate.
And me too. I meant it with all of my heart when I told you before. Neither of you are alone in this at all.
You guys...
And I, for one, don't believe this venture is without hope.
Huh?
Shion is the descendant of a maiden from 300 years ago. Given the circumstances, it seems very likely that those events have some connection to her Thorns.
No!
The true nature of which,
Well,
I
you
imagine we will discover as we make our way to Lenegis and uncover the truth of what's unfolding here.
I take it you mean we might find a way to get rid of her Thorns and she'll live?
It's certainly possible. Though I suspect the nature of the Sovereign is connected somehow.
So be it. I've already lost everything I had once. And I won't let it happen again. Shion. No matter what happens from now on, we're right here with you. All of us are. You are not alone.
You guys... You're all so stubborn. Thank you, everyone. For right now, and a little while longer, I just want to hold on to this dream. Most of all, more than anything else, I want to be with all of you. So let's go. On to Lenegis.
Talk to the other party members. Like a send-off thing.
The end of the world. It's hard to believe, isn't it?
I believe Shion is telling the truth. What about you?
As a friend, yes, I want to believe her. Everything that's happened seems to point towards some sort of great danger that's lurking ahead of us. Still, it's hard to fathom something that could usher outright doom to the world. That those really are the stakes we face.
No, I understand. Even Shion doesn't seem to know exactly what will happen to bring it all about.
We have so many pieces of the puzzle in our hands, so many clues, yet the complete picture eludes us.
So where do her Thorns fit in then?
Well, I imagine they must sit at the very center of it all. You remember the voice we all heard while we were inside the wedge, don't you?
Yeah, I remember. It was the will of Dana's astral energy come to life. Or that's what we all thought.
Right. And from that, we're able to hypothesize how vast concentrations of astral energy can become sentient. Let's return to when we found Shion in Pelagian. When her Thorns went wild, they contained far more astral energy than any mere Renin would normally have inside them.
So you think those Thorns might be alive too? That their will is what keeps her from dying? But why would they want to destroy the entire world?
As for that, I really cannot say for certain. Its goals still remain a mystery. It may be a mere fluke that her maiden powers have been able to contain it thus far.
You know, I've noticed since we've met that you like figuring out riddles.
Can you blame me? When one realizes that the world they once thought to be true is but a mere facade, they can't help but seek the truth. Especially when that deception has led to others getting hurt.
Dohalim?
I imagine the remaining pieces of the puzzle that we seek rest somewhere within Lenegis. As for what the final picture will look like, who can say? I think it's best we not dwell on it too much for the time being.
Right.
Wonder what awaits us on the other side once all the pieces have been assembled.
How you holding up?
Who, me?
Yes, you. You took a hit from those thorns again, didn't you?
Oh, that? That was nothing.
Compared to what Shion's going through, you mean? Still, even if you yourself might be willing to endure that kind of pain, that doesn't mean Shion wants to have to see you get hurt by her thorns, you know?
Yeah, I know. I'll be careful.
Shion doesn't know how lucky she is to have you around, you know? Dashing in to save her at the last minute.
Yeah, very funny.
I'm being serious. You went up and held her close like you still had that mask on, and you didn't even bat an eye. She really needed that. That's what I mean when I said you saved her. Just like you did with the rest of us.
I just want for Shion what we all have. The ability to touch someone without the fear of killing them. Those thorns have robbed her of the kind of everyday things we all take for granted. And it's not right.
You can say that again. It may be normal for us, but that doesn't make it any less special or important for her. I hope she gets what she wants. I have my own dreams, but a world without her, where she dies so we can all survive, isn't a world I want to live in.
Agreed. It's like more and more keeps getting taken from her, and I'm done with it.
Let's take back what's been stolen from us.
Did you know?
You mean about Shion?
Yeah, I didn't have the slightest idea. I mean, every once in a while I thought something seemed a little off, but I never could have imagined. It's like a completely different world was spinning around me and I couldn't even see it.
You and me both. I mean, I knew something was bothering her, but I could never quite figure out what it was.
You? But you're the one always looking out for her, aren't you?
That's what I thought. But in reality, I didn't understand it all. What I thought was helping and being there for her was actually just driving her into a corner.
At least you figured it out in time, though, right?
I don't think we're out of the woods yet. But yeah, you're right. We brought her back from the edge, and we're going to stop those thorns from taking her. No matter what.
Yeah, with all of us together, there's nothing we can't handle. Shion, the world, we can save everyone. And I mean it when I say we, Alphen.
I know. No lone wolfing it.
Hey, you're the expert on what my dad would say. Do you think he'd pat me on the back or tell me off?
Zephyr, I don't think that he'd have that much to say, to be honest. You're your own man now, Law. And you've already made up your own mind about what you want.
I guess he couldn't say anything even if he wanted to.
Law.
Sorry. I guess those of us amongst the living have enough problems to deal with, don't we? We'll need all our strength to save Shion. I'll probably end up worrying again at some point, but I guess I'll think it over more then. That okay?
Yeah, I think it is.
Stay focused, Alpin. We got stuff to do. It's not going to do anyone good if we let ourselves get overwhelmed by what's going on.
Can't sleep?
After everything we just heard, how could I?
Fair enough.
Shion's had to deal with so much on her own. Even when we were all laughing and celebrating, she just kept quiet and didn't say anything. I thought she was keeping her distance because of her thorns. That it was because she didn't want to hurt anybody by getting too close. I just figured that that was the type of person she was, you know? But it turned out to be none of that. All this time, she felt like she had to die and sacrifice herself for the greater good. But even then, she didn't think she could say anything to us about it.
I know.
She was so alone this entire time. How could I call her a friend and yet be so completely blind to everything she was going through?
I'm sure it made her happy, knowing you were there for her.
You really think so?
Yeah, I do. If she didn't think of us as friends, I don't think she could have ever opened up to us like that. You were a good friend to her before, and you'll be an even better one now.
Yeah, I really hope so. I want to be the best I can for her. When you think about it, we were all alone in our own way. But over time, we've all found ways to let each other into our lives. I hope Shion's able to do that one day too. No, I mean, I hope she's able to do that more. Lots and lots more. I think it'd be really nice if we could all just be there to support each other when it really counts. And forget about our grudges and pain.
Rinwell.
It'd be nice if everyone came together to support each other. One last dialogue.
Hey, you doing all right?
I seem to cause nothing but worry. As much as I try to look like I have things under control, everyone still worries about me.
You're not the only one.
Hey, do you remember the first time you said I was your friend?
No? When was that? Sorry, I can't remember.
That's okay. It came so naturally to you, I'm not surprised you forgot. I was different back then. The Danans were not even people to me, and I knew I would always be alone. But in that room with Deadheim, when you called me your friend, it just shattered the wall that I'd built up around me. Because until that moment, I'd only seen you as a means to an end. I thought of you as a way to use the blazing sword, and to obtain the Renis Alma. But after that day, one time became two, and before I knew it, you'd made a habit of calling me and Dohalim your friends. It didn't matter that we were Renins. You cared about us as you would any other people. Then, everyone else started to call me their friend too. To think of me as their friend. Before then, I never even dreamed I could have that. I didn't want to die and lose you all. But I also didn't want to live if it meant you would all die in my place.
Shion.
But then I realized I'd only really been thinking of myself that entire time. After saying how I felt, and hearing what you all had to say, I finally understood that. Don't worry, it's okay. I'm not planning on dying anymore. I've met too many people along the way who I truly care about to give in now. So I'll fight. For Dana and for myself. I'll fight against my fate to preserve our future. And I'll win, come hell or high water. I don't know how we're going to do it, but I won't let the world end because of me.
It's going to be a long, hard road ahead, Shion. Our fight won't be over until everyone, both Danans and Renins, can finally live in peace. But I swear I'll be there with you until the very end.
Thank you.
Remember what we learned back in Calaglia? There's no wall so high that we can't break it down.
Yeah, I think you may be right about that.
So left, return to your party.
Everyone well rested? Then let's go. We depart for Lenegis.
Well, I guess we see what the message they give us is. If it's truly a point of no return. Take off. Might as well just look it up. Just to get actual confirmation. Alright. Hills of Rise, point of no return. The point of no return will warn you it's a point of no return. So they'll literally warn you that it's a point of no return. Which means, fly.
Well, it's the moment of truth.
This lady better hold together once we're up in the air.
Law, don't say that. You're going to jinx us.
Speaking of which, Alphen, this bucket of bolts got a name?
Question.
A name? You know, I'm not sure she ever had one. I never really thought about it.
Well, after all the trouble we went through to find her, we should give her one, right? I was thinking something like...
Fall Knights.
Huh?
It means owl in the ancient tongue. Literally, the one drawn to the skies.
I like it. Sounds perfect for our little escapade.
Not sure I'm completely convinced, but... Well, it's as good a name as any. From now on, she'll be known as the Fall Knights.
Okay, people. We have two goals. First, we need to get to Lenegis and make the Renans finally leave Dana alone. And then, we need to figure out the truth behind Shion's thorns and find a way to save her. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right. Then let's go.
You know, I can still hardly believe it.
Believe what?
I mean, just look at it. The whole of existence, crammed inside a tiny frame.
Now that you mention it, I guess you're right. It does look more like a painting than a living, breathing world.
From
Call
up
that
here,
skybox art.
all the struggles we've been through feel so insignificant.
Nothing like realizing how small you are to put everything into perspective. Kinda makes the differences between the Renans and the Danans feel pretty small too, huh?
How much longer until we reach Lenegis?
There are better ways to use your time than napping. We should take a moment to familiarize ourselves with the facilities on board before arrival.
Good idea. The starship may end up serving as our base of operations once we're down there. Think you'll be all right with the controls?
You mean the one set to automatic pilot? I dare say I'll manage. I'm basically just here to supervise.
In that case, she's all yours.
Are you disbanded?
Everything okay, Shion? You seem a little different.
Different? Like in a bad way different?
No, not at all. You seem more driven lately, like you found a zest for life. It suits you.
Talk to the other party members on board.
We'll be going to Lenegis soon.
This must feel like a homecoming of sorts to you, huh? What was life on Lenegis like back then? You know, before you came to Dana.
Let's just say, I don't have many happy memories. I've had thorns my whole life, for as long as I can remember. They called it treatment, but in truth, they were just using me as a guinea pig for their research.
You mean, They experimented on you?
That's right. All I was to them was a riddle to solve. They poked and prodded me, trying to figure out what triggered my thorns or changed the form they took. Day in and day out, every single day, one test after another. I'm still surprised they didn't try to dissect me. The look they gave me whenever one of them touched my skin. How could I forget it? Reeling from the pain, like I was a monster or something. Some existence, huh? A blight on any I touched. Helplessly complicit in their pain. I thought things couldn't get any worse. But then they did. I started to have nightmares, visions of the coming apocalypse. Is it any wonder I lacked a cheery disposition? Unable to so much as touch another soul. Loneliness was my best friend. Sure, I survived, but with the knowledge that one day I'd be swallowed up by oblivion. And that's when it hit me. If I was going to die, then it should mean something. If I have to sacrifice myself to save the world, so be it.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you relive that.
No, it's fine. I'm in a much better place now.
You say it's your destiny to die so that others can live. But why not the other way around? Why shouldn't we be the ones dying to save you?
Are you crazy? Why would you sacrifice your life for...
That's exactly my point. Why should you have to give up your life just because you drew the short straw in the destiny stakes? How is that even right? It's that logic that's used to justify slavery, as if some of us were just meant to be sacrificed. This struggle was never about saving only ourselves. But that doesn't mean we have to give up our own lives to save everyone else's either. If we're doing this to protect people, if we're doing this to save the world from destruction, then that has to include saving each other as well.
A world free of sacrifice. That's what you've been fighting for all along, isn't it?
Not just me. We're in this together, remember? This fight is yours too, Shion. If we're going to win, everyone has to win. There can be no room for losers in this fight. Now I see it. The true nature of our struggle.
A victory without losers. But that means that a Dahnan victory over Rena can't be the end. Do you think we can pull it off?
You bet we can pull it off. We have to. It's the only hope we have of things ever changing.
Yeah, you're right. No one's ever changed the future without aiming for the stars. We can do this. Together.
Left her hanging. Use our future by our own hands. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna take a break. I need to get something to eat. Whether or not my friend is going to actually head out to lunch with me at a place we planned on to go get food yesterday is neither here nor there. But I guess till later then. See ya.